difficult to talk about the crossing of swords with Hideo Kojima and his employers at Konami without leaving a bitter aftertaste. The newest addition to the Metal Gear saga serves as our final reminder of the cryptic enigmas that fortified the success of the games. Littered with Easter eggs giving a friendly nod to other Kojima-based games, Kojima's last hurrah with Metal Gear Solid 5 doesn't leave us without its own palette of references to enjoy and savor. Between the cancelling of Silent Hills and putting the last notch on the rifle for MGS, Kojima has went through quite a tumultuous few months. I'm positive I don't have to reiterate what we felt during our exposure to the playable teaser. A milestone of modern horror that sets the bar above and beyond anything even our darkest subconscious has ever conceived, and truly one of the roughest rides we will ever remember being a part of. Who's to say this game is dead? Pulling it from the PlayStation Store won't do much to cleanse the images from our heads, and our old friend Lisa is still out there somewhere. Whether she's still spreading the same terror to people who couldn't find it in themselves to delete it off their data, or helping out with a few espionage missions by posing as a pleasantly effective decoy. A game so huge that the internet was taken overnight by petitions hoping to resurrect this petrifying creation, PT has kindled a fire inside us that cannot die. Seeing as how these were both Hideo Kojima games, as the internet never falls tired of pointing out, the developer always makes sure to get the last laugh. There's a strong suggestion that the universe of Metal Gear Solid and what we saw in Silent Hills aren't too far apart. The validity of their correlation is without much evidence, but it's pretty satisfying to toss the thought around in your head and make it seem like for a brief moment, Big Boss stumbled across a scene he could have gone his whole life without seeing. Does Silent Hill exist in the world of Metal Gear Solid? You'll find this area in the Angolazare border region of the game. You don't have access to this area right from the start, so if you feel like seeing it, you'll have to invest a few hours into the game to progress before you're able to travel there. Our point of focus is the Nagoomba Industrial Zone. It's recommended you make the trip without signing up for any other missions. The location itself is blanketed by jagged rock forms and hulking mountains, like nature itself is attempting to conceal some sort of secret. Getting across the mountains, the first thing you'll notice is the bridge, damaged beyond any repair. Doesn't it look familiar? A subtle nod to much earlier, Silent Hill fans might pick this up pretty quickly when they remember the bridge from the first Silent Hill suddenly rendered useless, as if by supernatural intervention. It's just gone. The same scene was even emulated in the first movie. Up ahead is a tent. Emanating from it is a radio-type static. Get closer and you'll be able to hear it. It's the exact same introduction broadcast from the playable teaser that depicts multiple investigations of fathers murdering their families with a shotgun or some other obscure weapon. This reference has been in high circulation for well above a week now. Feel free to watch the original video of the broadcast in full in the link below.
We regret to report the murder of a wife and her 2 children by their husband and father. The father purchased the rifle used in the crime at his local gun store 2 days earlier. This brutal killing took place while...
But this can't be it. Kojima's final salute to something so extraordinary yearns for more embellishment. A few more nails in the coffin. The thing is, that's not the only recording you hear from the radio. On certain, very unlikely occasions, you will be notified by your intel team that misty weather is coming your way. Landscapes and trees are obscured into abstract silhouettes, rolling blankets of fog blur your vision, nothing but silence, and the gentle patter of your own footsteps to break the quiet. This scenery begs an explanation. Due to a change in environment, misty weather is probably something you haven't been exposed to until this far up in the game. The broken bridge and the seemingly demonic radio that tells of a string of murderers happening somewhere else in the world. Standard homicides don't sound like a worthy enough story to make national, so this is probably a local broadcast you're listening to. This means the location of the murder scenes may not be far off from your own. You won't be prompted with weather like this often, so take advantage of it. Go straight to the tent. something has changed. The broadcast is playing something different, something noisy and distorted. It's the same announcer, but his tone is darker.
Touch that dial now, we're just getting started. Retrieved the rifle and shot his wife as he was cleaning up the kitchen. You can't trust the tap water. So son came to investigate.
Do you recognize it? It's the same broadcast being played after a few more cycles through the hallway in the playable teaser. At one point in the game, the radio announcer seems to be talking directly to you, warning you of things around the house. The news story takes a plunge from average homicidal tragedy to horrifying demonic possession. As much as we know about Kojima and his almost fetishistic love for overly enigmatic puzzles, his intention may be to keep the idea rolling in the back of our heads that the universes of Metal Gear and Silent Hill are more interrelated than people may anticipate. The misty weather, the downed bridge, and the out-of-place radio broadcast all beg to be connected to something larger. Even the plural of the word hills in the title, Silent Hills, has the possibility of suggesting there is not one single Silent Hill like we've grown accustomed to believing about the lore, but many versions and parallels of one much larger Silent Hill, an entity, a Silent Hill that can breathe and live, one that can relocate itself wherever it wishes. We're on the lookout for more evidence that might nudge this theory in the right direction, as there is very little right now. As underdeveloped as it is, Kojima knew we would at least consider the crossover. The dependency of what radio message plays based on the weather conditions says way too much for it to be written off as a lethargic attempt to try and screw with us. Feel free to call us crazy, but there's something deeper going on, and many aren't looking past the surface. If there's something you want us to cover, let us know in the comments. We're always taking requests. Until next time.